What's up, everybody? I hope you all are having a very blessed and wonderful day. And if not, I do pray and hope that it gets better. I would like to say thank you for stopping back by the channel and checking out today's video because it means a lot to me and I do appreciate it. So today we are going to be talking about if live service is a bad thing and if live service will be a bad thing for Suicide Squad as a whole. Now, as we talk in this video, we're going to be primarily talking about Suicide Squad, but we're also going to be mentioning other games like Avengers and Anthem and so on and so forth, just so you can have a clear understanding of where it is I'm coming from and what it is I'm trying to convey here as I talk about this. Now, getting into the video. So for those of you that don't know, Rocksteady has clearly decided to move forward with a different plan in motion. The next game in the Arkhamverse will be a live service game, a vastly different route from its single player story driven predecessors, which is the Arkham trilogy. Now, a live service game is something that's designed to stick around so that players can engage with the game as long as possible by way of things like adding new content instead of creating a one and done project. Now, the community hasn't really taken very well to this piece of information, seeing as how the live service side of games has been extremely iffy over the past couple of years, and I understand it's like a lot of people are kind of shaken about that. Now, more often than not, the main issue with live service games can simply be linked to a severe lack of content. Players are left in a void, essentially wondering when new content will release or when patches will be pushed out. Other issues can involve things like core gameplay being affected and not obtaining the patches needed to fix it, the general story not being engaging enough, a severe lack of communication and too much miscommunication, the in-game being bare bones, a variety of things here and there, right? Now, Rocksteady, in my opinion, they're sitting in a kind of limbo-esque position right here. And I'm going to explain why. Now, most live service games like Fortnite, Overwatch, Warzone, and Warframe, they all have something major in common. They are free to play and they rely on microtransactions and in-game purchases. Now, because they are free to play, they are therefore giving more people the ability to access their game and get more eyes on it. But on the other side of that coin, because they rely on microtransactions, some of the stuff, a majority of the good stuff, will be locked behind a paywall. And I'm not simply talking about a battle pass. Things like additional story content, weapons, characters, full out expansions, the whole 9 yards. All of that falls behind that area and there's no way around it. All of the juicy content will be behind that wall. But with games like Suicide Squad, GTA 5, Avengers, these are live service games that still comes with the upfront cost, which is what you would pay in order to buy the game. But all of the post-launch content is handled in a different manner. Now, GTA 5 releases updates where you don't really have to pay in order to gain access to new heists and missions and guns and more. You can reach them in game if you have certain stuff done, like if you got a bunker or a nightclub or an apartment, whatever it is you got, right? If you don't have any of that stuff done, then the post-launch content that's just been added will still be in game and it will be sitting there waiting for you once you finish what you need to do. With Avengers, all of the post-launch content in terms of heroes and missions and more story content were free, but the outfits you definitely had to pay for. Those were the only microtransactions at the time. There was the whole debacle about how they added in XP boosters and whatnot, which fell under the category of them stepping into the whole pay to play or pay to win area of microtransactions, with it, which they specifically said they were not going to do. That was eventually reverted and taken out, but for a majority of the time, the microtransactions were really just cosmetic based. Now, Suicide Squad will be adding more characters, missions, and weapons, and the only microtransactions will be cosmetic based, which is a great thing in my opinion, because offering up the ability to buy weapons and gear outright is literally how you end up with another Fallout 76 or Diablo Immortal. Now, this game, Suicide Squad, it is what it is. It's a live service, but you can at least take calm in knowing that Rocksteady is not doing what Diablo Immortal did. That game actually can't release to some countries because of its microtransactions. Its in-game is incredibly impacted by that. A fully loaded character, and I'm not bullshitting you when I say this, you can fact check me on this. It was a trending issue when the game had initially released. A fully loaded character in Diablo Immortal will run you about $110,000. Yet, for some reason, a lot of people in the Suicide Squad community are ready to just turn on Rocksteady after finding out about the Battle Pass and this being a live service. Y'all are ready to just turn on them and go right for the neck because they're charging an extra $10 for the premium Battle Pass, which you don't have to buy because it's optional. You don't have to buy it because all of the other post-launch content will be free. Now, saying that Rocksteady is being predatory towards the player base is extremely wild when nobody knows how much this stuff will even cost you to begin with. I would rather pay $5 to $10 for a skin than play a game where I'm actively being pushed to break out my wallet on a consistent basis, because breaking out the wallet means better progression, guaranteed. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do that. In terms of whether or not Suicide Squad will follow in the footsteps of various predecessors like Godfall, which wasn't technically a games as a service, but it was extremely close. You got Anthem and you got Avengers. It really just comes down to a couple of key things, right? For me, that is one of the things that the Arkham series and Rocksteady are the stories that they tell. They do a great job at immersing you into the role of the character that you're playing, respecting the source material, creating experiences that stick with you for various reasons, and just making captivating content, like the encounters with Strange in Arkham City. It felt like Strange was genuinely one step ahead of you the entire night, due to how he had plans laid out on top of plans for both Bruce and Batman. Or, for example, Joker's final moments uh, below Monarch Theater. There we go. Yeah, below Monarch Theater, where you could tell Batman was genuinely upset that he couldn't save him. Yes, a lot of people have not been saved because Joker can't go on a rampage anymore, but Batman also still let somebody die, and that genuinely messed with him. Now, with Godfall, right? One of the weakest parts of the game was the story. You're a king who was betrayed by your brother, who's on a quest to become a god, yada yada yada. That was extremely bare bones and forgettable. The missions in the game hit that area of repetition pretty quickly, as the end game lacked severely in many areas, and you often found yourself doing the same thing about an hour later, just on a higher difficulty. With Anthem, right, a game I still play every blue moon because it does still have a solid player base still, the only issue was really just a field of broken promises, miscommunication, and a severe lack of content. Keep in mind, this was a game that was initially said to have a 10-year plan, but it only made it out 2 years. Ask anybody and you will get the same answer. Gameplay wise, Anthem was incredibly solid, but it just dropped the ball when it came to content. Now, everything I said about Anthem can translate over to Avengers, because Avengers pretty much has become the poster child for live service games dropping the ball. Sadly, it is what it is. But like I said, everything that I said for Anthem can translate over to here, with a couple of other things that I don't want to get into because this video is not Avengers focused. So the two key things in common, right, between all three of these games is a lack of in-game presence, but decent or outstanding gameplay slash combat slash gunplay, because, you know, including Anthem. Now, again, Rocksteady has had the luxury of seeing how all three of these games and more have played out over the years. Making a compelling story isn't really something that I'm worried about with them. It's more so just making sure that the gameplay, it feels fun, it feels fluid, it feels nice, it's not clunky, and making sure that there's something for players to do and that we're not just sitting in like an empty void for 4 to 5 months waiting on when the next contract. Ooh, sorry, I had a go. We're not sitting in a void for 4 to 5 months waiting on when the next content drop is gonna be, right? They would, in a perfect world for me, they would take the Warframe approach, where Warframe's live service model makes it so that players will always have something to do when they come back, no matter if they're a returning player or if they're a new player. Which is true. Like, there's always something to do, because every time I get back on after a while, I'd be confused as hell. They got like 3 new story quest lines added. They got 5 new warframes, a whole new planet. They got spaceships you can fight in now. You gotta fight in space while repairing the outside of the ship. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. Now, do I believe going a live service route for Suicide Squad was a bad idea? I say no. But technically, it's too soon to decide that. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think you know. It is too soon to decide that. We haven't played the game. We haven't seen what we're going to be charged with the microtransactions. We don't have a solid look at the type of in-game content that's there. We don't know how the post-launch content is going to look. We don't know enough to fully judge this game the way that it's being judged about being a live service project, all we can do is sit and wait for more information. Now, I'm excited for this game. Trust me, I'm very excited. But I'm also being extremely cautious about putting what I have into Suicide Squad, because I'm not about to jump the gun and judge this game solely based off my experiences with another live service game that's not connected to this in any way whatsoever. That is literally the equivalent of breaking up with your ex, getting a new girl, and then bringing everything bad over from your last relationship to the new one. That is not what you do. Now, only time will tell if Rocksteady can succeed with this game, because even though it's following in the footsteps of a live service game like so many before them, it's all about execution, and that seems to be a very simple thing that people tend to forget. Live service games are not bad. It's literally just about the execution. How many people love Rocket League? How many people love League of Legends? How many people love Overwatch? How many people love Destiny? How many people love Team Fortress 2? Live service games are not bad. It's literally just the execution. And with Suicide Squad, they are getting the same cut as everybody else. It's all about execution. If they can pull it off, who knows? As I said in my last video, Suicide Squad could end up being another decade-defining game for Rocksteady as they're venturing into new territory with this. And when I say they're venturing into new territory, I don't mean as if like they're trying something completely new. They have experience. They have experience with making shooters. The only thing I don't know if whether or not they have experience in is just the whole live service aspect. But I'm pretty sure at least some of them there have an idea of what to do. When it comes down to everything else, like the gameplay, the gunplay, the story, the world, everything else so far seems like a solid unlock, as in they know what they're doing, except for the live service. That remains to be seen. But again, they're getting a fair shake just like everybody else. Now, with that being said, that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Just to reiterate my answer to it, no, I don't believe that going to live service off of Suicide Squad was a bad idea. And until I see something that proves otherwise, I'm going to, die on that hill. Now, if you agree or disagree with me, let me know down in the comments below. I'm curious about what it is y'all have to say. Let's go ahead. Let's start a conversation. If you did enjoy the video, let me know down in the comments below what would you like to see get improved on so that these videos can be better for y'all. But if you did enjoy the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and smack the notifications bell so that you'll never miss out on any of my Suicide Squad related content. And I will catch y'all in the moonlight. Peace.